So for the Nurturing Global Bridge Leaders programs, so mission projects and Winkits projects are playing the main role. We can say the important role. So, and we would like all of our APCC participating countries to be the host country of mission project and Winkits project in the future. So for this, we would like to show the video of the mission project. So it's some glimpses of the mission project in past years. So I would like to share what is Winkits program. So it's the Winkits program. It was launched at the 21st APCC to nurture the Japanese junior ambassadors. And the whole length of this program is 1 year and a half months. And it's targeting to 11 to 12 years children. So in this long period, what they will do, so first the APCC, first is the Winkits participant, they will participate in the mission project in the first year. And they will also join the APCC exchange camp in July and will have a homestay. And they will learn the Japanese history and culture and primary sector of economic throughout the year. And in the last, they will have a study tour abroad program. So this year, this March, this Winkits program, the participants, they went to the Taiwan for the Winkits program. And this year, for the mission projects, the APCC sent children to the 7 countries. And now, I would like to introduce 2 of them who, actually all of them are very good, but we don't have a time, so we are introducing only 2. So New Zealand and the Philippines. So first the New Zealand, I would like to call the Gray and Fia to share how they did in the mission project, and please share with us.
Kia ora tātou, I'm Fia Salisa from Auckland, New Zealand.
Kia ora, konnichiwa, I'm Gray from Auckland, New Zealand also.
Hey, we were given a script from our Deputy Principal. We represent Stanhope Road School, which were part of the mission project. So I'll read the first part and then you can read the next. Hey, preparations for the Japanese exchange took place over several months and included detailed planning meetings with Auckland Council Liaison Officer, the school and members of the Bridge Club. At these meetings, expectations and requirements were discussed to ensure that the exchange was a safe and enjoyable learning experience for all parties. A very important part of the planning was to host families and match up students according to age and gender. Once this was achieved, the process of contact began. The Japanese students sent information sheets which enabled us to plan activities and sightseeing for them according to their wish list. And one of their wishes was to meet a sheep. And so we had a sheep greet them as they arrived at our school. So they were very excited. And this sheep became very famous because it was later photographed with your Japanese Premier and our Prime Minister John Key. So that was Choppy the sheep. You can see him on our Facebook page. One important feature to note was that one person from the school was given sole responsibility for the contact with the liaison officer and Bridge Club to ensure that all planning and paperwork was completed and all trips and homestays were well planned and detailed. Communication was the key, and there was constant liaison with the liaison officer, bridge club and school. Together they planned activities for the Japanese visitors and agreed who would organise the trips, transport and food. All groups were involved in all trips and activities. There were no standalones, and everyone worked together to ensure that everything was well planned, well organised, and everyone was well informed.
The liaison officer, bridge club and the school all worked together cooperatively and had excellent lines of communications at all times. They all had very specific tasks to do. The school's roles included hosting meetings for all groups to organise and plan the exchange. They selected the pupils to host students, planned and organised the welcome, school activities, day trips and associated transport requirements and a special farewell. The LO was responsible for all liaison with Japan and provided support at all levels of planning and organisation and attended all activities. The LO arranged a special sightseeing day for the host and mission project students. The Bridge Club passed on their experiences about how to host exchange students, what to do and how to do it and what to expect. So we've got a video to show.
As you can see the photos, all the students had enjoyable and exciting and valuable learning experiences. They shared and learnt from each other and experienced different cultural activities. Friends were indeed made and bridges were built. There has been continued email contact between Japanese and New Zealand host families, and it was a positive experience that will remain with those involved for a long time. A few comments from our pupils who hosted students. I am still friends with Fuka and will continue to be friends. I enjoyed her honesty, and her whole family enjoyed her company. I miss her and would love her to come again. That's from Joyce, aged 9. I enjoyed having a homestay as I have never had an experience with a person that had come from another country before. I enjoyed introducing her to my family and we had great experiences together. That's from Estelle, who is currently here. I really enjoyed having Hanato stay over because she was from a completely different country and was always smiling. I loved going on trips with her and learnt a lot from her. And this was something I'll remember for the rest of my life, and that's from Miss Lyric, who is currently here.
Also we had Calvin. I enjoyed learning the language and getting to know someone from a different country. I learned that countries have a lot in common. I really wish there was more time. Calvin. Having a host sister was the best. I don't have a sister, so I enjoyed it so much. Sonoko and I shared our photos and videos together. We bought tea and cookies to send home to Japan. It was a great experience for us both. I'm really looking forward to going back to Japan. That's Zaid, who's here with us now. I think having a host sister was great. She was interested in New Zealand and what we do, and I enjoyed sharing. That's Talanoa, who's also here. I enjoyed having a homestay because I don't have any siblings. I like learning about Japanese culture, what activities they do, and what they eat, etc. I made a few friends quickly, and we still catch up. Shay. Okay, so that was our presentation. Thank you very much.
So thank you so much, Gray and Fia. So by seeing this, we can know how good time the Japanese Jays had in the New Zealand. So thank you so much for giving the wonderful time to our Jays. So now I would like to call the chaperone from Philippines, Edson and Rafael, to share the mission projects in Philippines.
To the APCC officials, to the liaison officers present here, to my fellow chaperones, and of course to the peace ambassadors, good afternoon, konnichiwa, and magandang hapon. That's good afternoon in Filipino. So I am here to present to you, just to share about the mission project that happened earlier this year, from March 28 to April 3, 2014. So we call it Omayari Spirit Filipino Style. So this is our version of the mission project. Next slide, please. Okay, so this is the timeline that we had in our preparation for the mission project. So the reason why I wanted to show this to you, so that you can also have an idea if in the future you would decide to host a mission project. So around October to November 2013, we had our coordination with the APCC office in Japan. So that was through our liaison officer, Mr. Faustino Roberto. Then by November 9, we had the first meeting for the mission project. That first meeting was held by the liaison officer together with a few families who were also the host families of previous JAs and also the former chaperones. So we had brainstorming of the program, talked about possible destinations and activities, and how do we host the delegates and how do we plan for the transportation. By November 19 to 22, that is when the APCC coordinators from Japan went to the Philippines. So I was able to talk to one of the coordinators yesterday. They call him my half brother because they think I look like him. So I met him yesterday. We had a chat. So that was November 19 to 22. Then January to February of this year, we had continuous planning and communication, but mostly were done by email because the team for the mission project was composed mainly of the parents of the former JAs, the liaison officer, and the chaperones. So we had to report for our own work, but we were still able to coordinate through emails. So it is a very good means of communication. Do it by email using the Yahoo groups. That's what we used. Then by March 2014, we met during Sundays. We had final set of meetings to finalize the activities, the list of the host families, and other tasks or other assignments. So next slide, please. Okay, so this is the main team for the Mission Project 2014. Okay, of course, we are led by our liaison officer, Mr. Faustino Roberto. The Philippine group leader for the Mission Project this year is Mr. Yuri Alafriz. He was also a former chaperone. And of course, we could not have done the Mission Project successfully without the Bridge Club Philippines, no? Led by our Peace Ambassador, Mr. Rafael Moralio. Please stand to be recognized. The former junior ambassadors, and of course, the families. The families of these former JAs and former PAs, and the former chaperones. So since I am the chaperone this year, I'm also part of the team. I was also tasked to help out also the JAs and their families for this year's APCC. So next slide, please. Okay, so this is the itinerary, the activities that we had. So just so you would have an idea of what the Mission Project activities were. So they arrived at Manila, that's the capital of the Philippines, March 28. Then the next day, they had trekking at Taal Volcano. So it's one of the famous tourist spots in the Philippines. Then when they were there, they had lunch, swimming, and sports activities. Then they went back to Alabang. It's in the Muntinlupa area. That is where they stayed. No? They stayed first in a hotel. Then we had the welcome party at the house of the liaison officer. On March 30, on the welcome party also, they were picked up by their host families. Then by March 30 Sunday, they already had their own bonding with their host families. So they went to different malls. They went to activities by the families there. So what we really encourage that the host families show them how it is to be in a Filipino family. So they brought them to activities of daily Filipino activities. March 31, we had a school visit at San Beda College, Alabang. 3 of the JAs right now are from that school. Then we also had a visit to the Gawad Kalinga site. Now, Gawad Kalinga is a non-government organization in the Philippines. They help out the less fortunate communities. Then by April 1, we had a courtesy call to the city mayor of Muntinlupa. Then we had Ayala Museum visit, one of the famous museums in the Philippines. And we had a courtesy call to the Japan embassy there. And afterwards, we ended the day by having a cultural exchange with the Bridge Club Philippines. Okay, so the Japanese delegates shared their culture with us. Some of it were the flower making, like it was done a few days ago, if I'm not mistaken, and origami making also. And by April 2nd, we had the last day. This was the last day for bonding with the host families. Then we had the send-off party, which we were also part of, since we are the current delegation for the APCC. Then by April 3, that's Thursday, we had a departure from Manila. Okay? So all of this were made possible through the collaboration and cooperation of the Liaison Office in the Philippines, the former chaperones, the former JAs and their host families. Since in the Philippines, we are not sponsored by the government, just by a private office of the liaison officer, most of our, to get our budget, we had to ask for sponsorships and solicitations. But even though we were not supported, or we're not sponsored by the government, the city government, we were still able to have a successful mission project. So that just goes to show that with the Omayari spirit and with the support of the families of the former JAs and the PAs, everything is possible. So I think that is the last slide. So now we will show you the video of the mission project that we had earlier this year. This video was again made by our Peace Ambassador, Rafael. That's the arrival at the airport. So we tried to welcome them like you welcomed us when we arrived here. Trekking at the Taal volcano. That's the welcome party. And when they first met their host families. There are different bonding activities with their host families. That's the school visit. So that is where the Filipino students introduced the local dance of tinikling to the Japanese delegates. And of course, the Japanese delegates also performed the fisherman dance. That's the singing of the Bridge Club song during the school visit. The pictures right now are the visit at the Gawad Kalinga site. So both Filipinos and Japanese delegates made a mural of how they see Omoyari. So that's the mural. It's courtesy call with the mayor. So they also ate at local fast food chains in the Philippines, like Jollibee and McDonald's. This is the cultural exchange between Japanese and Filipino delegates. That's the send-off party. So the food was potluck brought by the different host families, and we had our final presentations. We also had a candle lighting ceremony to symbolize unity between the two countries. And that's it. Okay. So again, just like the delegates in New Zealand, the friendship still continues until today. In fact, I've already met some of the delegates who are some of the room leaders. Our room leader, Momoko, came to the Philippines together with Mission Project 2014. And this just goes to show that Omoyari extends not just within APCC, but throughout their whole lives. So thank you very much and good afternoon.
So yes, it's the true Omoyari spirit. Thank you so much, Edson, for sharing this wonderful experience of Mission Project. So by seeing these two videos, how many of you want to hold the Mission Project in future? You can raise your hand. It's not a commitment, just I want to see from the Chaperons. I want to see the hands of Chaperons. Okay, thank you so much, sir. Hope we can have the Mission Project in future in your countries. opinion. So please share your ideas on these 2 points: how to strengthen relationship between LO, Chaperon and BC, and ideas to involve Bridge Club actively in organizing APCC related programs. So please share your opinion. We have very limited time, so we can have 15 minutes on it. So anyone can share it.
Get the ball rolling. My name is Oscar, I'm from New Zealand. I'm a BCAO head office member this year. So Fear and Grey just gave our presentation about the mission project in New Zealand this year. It's the first time we've done it in a very long time, and that's mainly because of the huge support that we've had from our LO and the school. The way we work is we select a school, and then they organised a huge amount of the activities. They did all the homestays. But the great thing about this year is that we had such a great relationship. The BC, at the time, I had just come down from being Bridge Club president, and we were involved in all the meetings with the LO and the school. There was one main representative from the school that would help us, and with the way that we did that was just, free communication about everything. Any emails forwarded from anyone, we just forwarded to everyone else. And we just had a good experience from it because of the open communication with everyone. So that's how we did ours.
How to strengthen relationship between LO, Chaperon and BC. We can all have a presentation between LO and the Chaperon from BC. It can be current BC should make a presentation because we are currently here and we know exactly what's happening. So we should make a presentation for our LO and the Chaperon so that there's free communication and they know what's happening currently, and they can train our future JAs for it. So that's very important. And also for APCC, we can get some help in making that presentation. Not all of you, but we living in India, we have a problem that we can't gather at one place because it's such a huge country with 29 states. So it's difficult for all of us to meet at one place. So we can just send the presentations across, and that helps. Thank you.
Just to add to what I presented a while ago, it's really important to keep communication with the former junior ambassadors and their families. Like when we had our planning for the host families, one of the host families was the the sister of the first junior ambassador sent to the APCC from the first batch, the first APCC. Then there was also some volunteers from the other batches. So really the involvement of the families of the former junior ambassadors and former peace ambassadors, they will really help in organizing because they have this feeling that since their kids were well taken care of when they were here in Japan, they want to return the favor and possibly even do more than what was done to their kids. So I think if we really involve the families, then preparation would be a lot easier. So that's it. Thank you.
Any other chaperons?
Hello, this is Nazmul Haq from Bangladesh. We are trying to arrange a reunion. Those who came here as junior ambassador previously and the Chaperon who visited Fukuoka previously. We have the plan to make a conference, and in where we want to sort out some activity which we can coordinate with Liaison office, Chaperon and Bridge Club. Our Bridge Club is very active, so we are thinking that all of the members of Bridge Club and former junior ambassador, those who are not really active, we would like to active them with ourselves and our liaison office is interested to hold the activity gradually, and we sent a plan in 2014 regarding this APCC. So we would like to host mission project in 2016. So we are hopeful that we will work together, liaison office, Chaperons and Bridge Club also. So thank you all.
Thank you. My name is Renita and I come from Indonesia. It happened to be that I was GA before and I was PA also. So with my friends here, Arif, and he is one of BCIO member. We held a meeting with all the Bridge Club Indonesia member regularly, and we often do some activities together because Indonesia is a quite big country and we consist of separate islands. So we have to get more active to collect all the GAs from all of Indonesia. So that's why we have actively connect to all the GAs and the chaperons, and also by the help of our liaison officer to get more and more active, so our bridge club can be getting stronger every year. Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much. Let me ask, so in this summer mission project in August, Fiji is holding the mission project, so I would like to ask Deepak, who is the chaperone this year, but he is also the Principal Fiji President and working very closely with the liaison officer. So I would like to ask Deepak to share how they are preparing the mission project. Deepak, please.
Good afternoon, I am Deepak. We are organizing mission project together with our liaison office. Our liaison office is very cooperative. We usually communicate through email. Even our former JAs who have been part of our group, we have been working together with them to organize this mission project. And in a month's time, we will be having it in our country. And our country, there's a lot of small islands, so we have students who former JAs, they are from small islands. So what we have done, just to strengthen the relationship, we have made sub committees. Like one island will have might be 3 or 4, and others 3 or 4. So they get together, and only the heads of the different sub bridge club, we just communicate. That's how we strengthen our relationship within ourselves and our chaperons, the former JAs, and liaison office. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Deepak.
Konnichiwa, good afternoon, and Assalamu alaikum. I'm Daniel, the Peace Ambassador for Maldives, and I'm also the Secretary of Bridge Club Maldives. Well, when Maldives carries out the mission project, is usually the President and our liaison officer, who's also the coordinator for Bridge Club Maldives, who ends up organizing, who ends up planning the whole thing, the itinerary and everything. After all of the planning and things are finalized, we invite all of the active Bridge Club members and also recruit the host families and everyone who would like to host the students. So I'm mainly involved in the cultural evenings and the farewells, which they organize with local schools. It was my school, Iskandar, for the last 2 years, and we have also organized with Kalafan School and Tajdeen School over the past years as well. Then the cultural evenings are always held at the Ministry of Education, which is where our liaison officer works. It really helps that we have a Facebook group through which we can keep in touch with each other, including the former junior ambassadors, peace ambassadors and chaperons who used to come but are not so active. and we also have a mailing list so that everyone can be updated. So like this, we hope to strengthen the relationship between all Bridge Club members, LO, and the Chaperon.
Thank you, Daniel.
Hi, I'm Leroy Gaines. I'm from Oakland, California, US. We actually have a really hard time strengthening our relationship. Our bridge club is it's a very small city, and there's a number of folks who've gone through it, but they don't communicate at all from year to year. And I actually had friends who participated in this in the past, and I didn't even know it until I came out here. So it just shows you how unorganized it is right now. But one thing that we really want to do is actually build this, and I love this idea of the mission. And I think one possibility that would help us would be, I don't know, I love that idea of the Facebook page, but I'm not sure if there's a Facebook page for the Bridge Club internationally that our folks could all join on, and then they could communicate and see what's happening. Like in Fiji, I would love to see the pictures and hear about the stories about what's happening there during their mission, so that we could learn through that method. And then also one other thing is, even we have all the kids here, my students or the kids we brought, it's really important for them to be bought in and to have some investment in it as well, so that they can carry it on when they leave here. And I was wondering if maybe in the future having opportunities for them to participate in something like this, or a group where they understand what the big picture is, the students themselves. So those are just two things that I want to share.
Thank you so much. Okay.
Konnichiwa, my name is Arif from Indonesia. About the mission project, we from Bridge Club Indonesia last year, we held a pilot project, mission project from Bridge Club Indonesia to Bridge Club Philippines. So it was only 3 members of us. We went to Philippines, but it was also supported by our LO. So I think this is an idea how to expand our mission project not only from Japan to our country, but we can also do it from our country to other countries. That's why we started to went to Philippines with. We started with 3 adult people, because we want to know first about how it goes, and then we are planning to send our mission project to other countries in the following years.